My name is Alex. I'm gonna wait until someone arrives. Hi, Annie. So it seems like it's just you and me right now. But, I mean, I guess it's early in the morning. I'm not exactly presentable. I mean, I'm as presentable as I can be right now. Yeah, my name is Alex. I am a live contributor. Thank you. I am sort of the local expert, other than, obviously, the author, on the Steiner series. I read the whole thing, except for this sort of special thing that I'm waiting for. So, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask, either now or later. Can't really think of much to say other than I'm here to answer any questions about Steiner. The only things I can think of to say about Steiner is that the narrator is not to be trusted. She's batshit crazy, to put it lightly. And if you're looking for a series in which you can feel sympathy for any character, this is probably not the series for you. It is probably the best set of books I've ever read. It is my favorite series to date, and I've read a lot of books. Like, I've read the Croak series. I've read, obviously, the more mainstream young adult series, like Harry Potter, obviously, and before we knew J.K. Rowling was a bitch. And the Hunger Games series, which was, fine. I never read Twilight. I refused to watch or read Twilight or watch any of the movies. From what I know about it, it was done horribly. The writing is horrendous. This is Steiner is sort of the antithesis, there we go, of Twilight, the series. In my opinion, like, I've read one of the books just because, like, I wanted to know what all the hype was, in terms of Twilight. But I personally think that Steiner is, like, a million times better, if not, like, completely better. I don't know how else to phrase it other than, like, Steiner is much more well-researched. It is better written. The author seems to be cooler. And, like, I personally know the author of Steiner, so I guess that makes me sort of biased, but, like, not really. If I had read both of them within the same month, I would have dumped Twilight immediately. Like, like, there's representation, of race, there's representation of, like, a lot of different things. I can't really think of all of them right now. But yeah, so if you're looking for a book where you can have sympathy for, like, pretty much any character, this probably is gonna be, like, if you're looking for that. And yes, Sinette is trans. Sorry, I like, couldn't think of much to say on, like, representation, because there's so much representation. But, I'm trying to think of, like, other things about Steiner. It's probably best read on Kindle. just because it's so long, and if you don't have a lot of room in your house, if you don't have bookshelves that, like, go up the wall and, like, all around your room, and they're not already... Like, if you have room, definitely get the paperback, but if you don't have room and you still want to read the series, definitely get it. Like, don't miss out on this amazing series just because you, like, don't have room. Like, the Kindle version is free, I think. Or it's cheaper. It's cheaper. But... If you don't have a lot of money and you have a Kindle, then go get the Kindle version. If you have room in your house and you want the paperback and you want to support, great. Like, the Steiner series is just amazing. Like, for the other person that's watching, right, the box set. Sorry, my train of thought is all over the place. However, the box set. The box set, when will that be available, CJ? Is the box set available now? Or... Because we didn't discuss that. My bad. But if you want to invest in the box set, that's definitely worth it. It's probably gonna be cheaper overall than if you buy each book individually, and it's definitely worthwhile to buy all of them, like, immediately. I honestly could not put the books down. I did put the books down, obviously, because I, have, I have to eat, and I have school and stuff going on in my life, but had I had the option, I would not have stopped reading Steiner, at all. I would have just read the whole series within, maybe a week. So I've just been informed that the box set is not available yet. Alright. So, the box set is not available yet. However, it will be, it will definitely be cheaper, about $40 cheaper, than all 4 paperbacks if you were to buy them in succession. And it'll definitely have more information, I don't know what else to say about it. It'll be available in probably 3 months, but right now it is not available, so and it will be exclusively, the Amazon will sell it exclusively in a 2-box collection. Wait, can't people read the comments? I just realized people can read these comments, and, I'm just repeating them. I'm sorry. But... I can't really think of what else to say. So the box set will definitely be worth the investment. Thank you. So it'll... Gotcha. So Amazon will be selling the box set exclusively in a 2-book collection. And the additional information will be, maps, character traits, or character facts, rather. I love you too. Maps, character facts, graphs, the actual, real-life Steiner effect theory and the practice of it. And, this series is probably the most well-researched series in the world, I think. In terms of fiction, I should say that. It is a work of fiction. It is a story. However, this is real life. It is, the Steiner effect is completely real. It is completely real. The characters, a lot of them are based on real-life people. some of the events, not all of the events, mostly like, mostly in the first book. In the first book, there is sort of a cultish thing. I don't really know how else to describe it without giving stuff away. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but, so, like, in the first book, there are not specific events, but, like, the overall, yeah, it's literally a cult. It's a cult, and that happened in real life. It, like this story is based on the real life vampire, quote-unquote, serial killer. And there was an actual vampire cult. Like, there are like, vampire storylines. Like, don't get us wrong, this isn't the antithesis of Twilight in the fact that, like, there are no vampires or anything like that, but there's no bullshit. Like, there's absolutely no bullshit in this story. There's no, like, oh, I sparkle in the sunlight. Like, no. Like, there is actual research going into, or went, and going to, into this series. Like, it really is, like, the best and most informed fictional story I can think of. And if you didn't catch this before, I said this earlier, but the narrator, Jacqueline, is not to be trusted. She is, to put it lightly, a fucking nutcase. You get hints here and there that she's unhinged. However, you don't really get that until you can take a step back and, like, actually see the big picture of what's going on, because, like, she has episodes at certain points during the books, and you get to see that, like, she is not mentally stable, but you see everything from her perspective because she's the narrator. So, like, in a lot of books, everything that the narrator says is like law. That's just how it goes. But in this case, it's not. There, throughout the entire series, there are multiple, like, instances. Throughout the entire series, really. Specifically after book 1. After the events of book 1 take place, Jacqueline goes off the rails. I mean, she's not, like, violent. She's just, like, willfully ignorant of a lot of things. And there are most cases with her, like, with her friends, I guess you could call them, with her friends, they quite literally protect her mental health, because there's no other way to make sure she's, like, happy and as mentally stable as she can be, other than to, like, protect her from various truths. Like, there is a huge event that happens around the world, and she seems completely I'm trying to think of the word, like, unbothered by it, when there are, like, literally people dying, and when something affects, like, small things get to her, and, like, big things she just can't seem to comprehend. So when you, like, read the book, just keep that in mind, because Jacqueline's word is definitely not law. She is human. She has, like, she has a real, I mean, not real, but, like, she has a human brain that is malfunctioning. To put it, I can't think of any other way to put it other than her brain is malfunctioning. Like, that's what mental illness is. So that's what's happening with her. Like, there are no good people in this series, except for a few. There are very, very few, and far between, and they don't last. Whether they leave or they die, like, I'm not gonna say. But there, if you have sympathy for a character, don't. Just don't get attached to them. They're either gonna do something terrible, or they're gonna leave in some way, or they're gonna be corrupted. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. Like, there's, no matter who you have sympathy for, that sympathy will not last. Yeah, there's, like, if you feel sympathy for a character, even for a second, like, don't trust that. Like, this series will definitely have a real life effect on you. Like, it had an effect on me. It had, like, I wouldn't say lasting effects. I mean, obviously, I'm, like, thinking about it, and it created its own Steiner effect, which the Steiner effect is explained in the books, but if you would like to, hear it now, I suggest you keep watching. So the Steiner effect comes in four stages. I'm not really an expert on it. I am not the one who spent years coming up with this theory. However, I read the books. So so this is probably, like, the worst explanation of the Steiner effect ever. But basically, it comes in 4 stages. The first stage is watching something and relating to it. Absorbing a piece of media and relating to it. Whether that be music or fashion or TV or whatever. Like, a piece of media. It can be literally any type of media. The second stage is thinking about it. Thinking about it constantly, like, thinking about it even when you're not absorbing that piece of media. The third stage is longing to oh, that's sweet, CJ. Like, the third stage is, the best way to explain it is, do you ever, like, see a character and you obviously, you see it, you relate to it, and then you sort of absorb a piece of that character, like, especially when you read a book, like a really, really good, like a really, really good book, and you, like, when a main character is really sympathetic, and you're just like, oh my god, I need these sort of character traits in my life, and you unconsciously absorb it. That's sort of the same thing. And then the fourth stage is probably, it can potentially be the most dangerous, depending on the piece of media. The fourth stage is actually going out and doing it. Like the third stage is sort of like is sort of like, the third stage and the fourth stage are very connected. Like, they're all connected, but, like, the third and fourth stage are the most closely related, I think. The third stage is sort of, like, it affects only yourself. Like, that's the best way I can explain it. And then the fourth stage is, like, actually going out and taking initiative in that piece of media. Like, if you saw, I'm trying to think of, like, the worst thing possible. If you saw the best... Sorry, completely different train of thought. The best example of the Steiner effect is people becoming Instagram models. They go on Instagram, they see these people, these pictures, they think about it constantly, they talk about it with friends, and then they say, oh, I want to be this. That's sort of the third stage. And then the fourth stage is actually going out and becoming an Instagram model because you got inspiration from another person. So that's the most positive, like, that's the most current, and what is my hair doing? My apologies. Like, that's probably I'm just gonna leave it. That's probably the most, current and benign, Steiner effect that there can be. Like, the Steiner effect happens all the damn time. Like, there is no way to avoid it. There is absolutely no way to avoid it. It's just, it is what it is. It's a part of human life. It's a part of being in a world surrounded by media. And this book is not a call to never trust media again, which, I mean, you can do that, but you would just end up being extremely paranoid and a hermit, I guess. I can't really think of a world in which you would live where there is no media. But, like, being aware is the key to taking charge of the Steiner effect. Same, big mood. But, like, being aware of media, being aware of the Steiner effect in whatever you do, whatever media, like, when you talk about something, when you're not absorbing that piece of media, that is the Steiner effect. Like, there is no way to avoid it. You talk about media all the time. Everyone absorbs media, specifically in the Western world. I can't really speak for other cultures because I can't speak from those cultures, obviously. But especially in the US, we absorb so much media. Whether it be on your own personal computer or on the TV or magazines, like, billboards. There is literally no way to avoid media in, specifically advertisements, but media in general, in the United States. And I'm trying to think of, like, other things to say about the Steiner effect other than be aware of it. Like, there is no way to avoid media, and to not be aware that the Steiner effect is real is sort of being willfully ignorant of real life issues, like real life psychological phenomenons that happen when you absorb media of any kind. And, like, it could even be a song. Like, it could honestly be a song, and you, like, listen to a song, and you're just like, wow, this is really good, I should tell my friends about this, even when you're not listening to the song. That's, like, the first stage would be listening to the song, really enjoying it. The second would be, like, talking to your friend when you're not listening to the song. Hey, have you listened to this song? Let me share it with you. The third is just like, wow, maybe I could do something like this. And the fourth is like, I'm gonna go take inspiration from this and go do my own music. Like, excuse me. Like, that is literally what the Steiner effect is. And I have just been informed that the Steiner effect thesis is being completed. A few more tests are being conducted, then the theory will be published in a few medical journals. So if you're more interested in, like, the nitty-gritty and, like, the actual thesis, then I suggest, then I highly recommend you read it, when you can. If not, then just read the books. Like the Steiner effect thesis is more towards the medical field. If you are in any sort of medical field or just purely interested, I suggest you read that. That is much more in depth. It has proof. It has like obviously it has proof. Fuck am I talking about? But like it has tests. It has everything a thesis should. But if you're looking for a more sort of commonplace for us normies to absorb the information that the Steiner effect needs to come across to everyone, if that made any sense at all. My mind is jumbled, I apologize. But like if you're looking for a way for like a more common more commonly worded way to learn about the Steiner effect, read the books. Like it is honestly the best series I've ever read. And although I have read more like books that stand alone than series, I would say it's saying a lot. I'm not a book fanatic or anything, but like I read a lot. That's sort of who I am. I read a lot, and I can like safely say that these books are the best series I've ever read. The Goodreads page is open to any and all questions regarding Steiner. The Facebook page is open. When CJ is too busy, I will be here to answer questions about Steiner when I can. The Amazon page is open for you to buy the books. Should I talk about like my favorite books in the series? I guess. So, my personal opinion, this is obviously my personal opinion. It is not law. I am still human and I am still an individual. So, in regards to the books, they keep getting better. Like, as you read, they keep getting better. The first, thank you, CJ. So my favorite book is probably the third book. They do keep getting better. Like, the books keep getting better. The fourth is probably most people's favorite. The third is my favorite simply because it is mostly focused on Jacqueline. Like, there's a lot going on in the third book. There's a lot of subtle hints to, like, things that Jacqueline can't quite comprehend, I think. And the first book is probably, like, I can speak English good. Pardon. But, like, the first book is very well written. It is amazing, and it is probably the only book that can stand alone. It could very well stand alone. Like, obviously it has cliffhangers, because, you know, there are 3 other books, but it is probably the only book that could... Oh, no. There we go. So, like, it is probably the only book that can stand alone. There's obviously going to be cliffhangers and, like, stuff like that, but it is the only book that can stand on its own, I think. Like, as its own book. If there weren't any books after that, people would complain, because there's a really, really good cliffhanger, but, like, it could potentially stand on its own. I recommend reading all of them, obviously, just because, like, you don't get nearly enough information. Anyway, so the second book is all about Jacqueline's life after the events of the first book, obviously. That's sort of how time works. But so the second book is pretty much all setting up for Jacqueline growing up. Like it's all sort of materialistic. The first book is all about how, you know, she's this 17-year-old obsessed with vampires, and then she gets into a vampire cult, because that's a thing that happens in this universe. I love these books. So she gets abducted into this vampire cult. I'm not going to give you details because those would be spoilers. And the second book is a lot about, like, Jacqueline's life after the events of the first book, after the vampire cult, after she's... I mean, her story gets her famous. Like, that's... There, like, if this, like, this particular storyline were to happen in real life, of course, like, the surviving victims would be famous. You know what I mean? And the second book is mostly about her fame, and, like, I can't really explain it any other way. Like, I'm not gonna say it's, like, fluff, but I think that's the way Jacqueline views her life. I think that's the way Jacqueline, views her life. Sort of as this, like, this fluffy, perfect life that she pursued because of this horrible thing. But in reality, like, there are so many hints in the second book is a perfect setup for the third book, because the second book is all about, like, how she copes after, like, I think it's 4 years after the first book, after the events of the first book. And then the third book, which is my favorite, and the third book, which is my favorite, is all about these larger-than-life events that sort of happen. Yeah, so basically, to keep it vague, Victor Harris fucks the world. He rams his dick into the entire human race, and it sucks. But but, like, that's keeping it very vague, because there are various ways he could do that. But basically, like, the third book is all about these sort of larger-than-life events that are, like, hinted at. They're very much hinted at, but Jacqueline can't quite comprehend them, because they're a bit above her pay grade. The fourth book is... Nothing is tied up in a neat little bow. Nothing. Like, literally nothing. Like, some things are resolved, not much. Like, you are... Like, and there's no other way to say it other than it is not an ending. It is not an ending, by any means. Like, there is something else, and it is prime, like, media. It is a prime series to make into theories and different, like, it is great to theorize. It is, like, if you didn't know all the loose ends, like, I read it with the author, like, I know the author, and I can ask direct questions about, like, the series, and obviously you guys can ask direct questions too, but honestly, it might be a bit more fun to theorize, and the author and me can like, confirm or deny your theories, and even if we deny your theories, you can go on believing them. It's your theory. I love theorizing series. It's one of my favorite things to do, and this is like prime media to be theorizing about. And like this series took 12 damn years. Like this entire series took 12 years. And it is amazing. It really, really shows. Like all the houses that you like hear described are real houses. Even all the outfits are like pretty much real. All the like so many, like the smallest details, like literally the smallest of smallest details have been, like, have time behind them. They have research behind them. And these characters, although you can feel sympathy for none of them, they are full human beings. Like, so much more than that of, like, a lot of other books. They do have three-dimensional characters. They do. Like, they have characters that feel well-rounded. But only in this series, I think, that only this series has human beings in it. Like, these characters are fully fledged human beings. They're so much more than three-dimensional. They are real. They are here. They are, I mean, a lot of them are based on real-life human beings, so they better be, but, like, but yeah, so I can't really think of any other, things to say about the Steiner series, because it's really good. I suggest you buy it. I suggest buying the first book. The first book is probably, like, it's not bad. The first book is definitely not bad, but it's definitely the weakest of the series. It's sort of setting the stage, for everything that happens afterwards. There's really no other way to say it. It's sort of the prologue. But yeah, get the books. If you want to save some money and wait a few months, then definitely get the box sets on Amazon. All of these books are available on Amazon. Check out CJ's other work. Everything they write is absolutely incredible. Like, it is, like, they're probably my favorite author, and I'm not just saying that because they're my friend. Like, they put so much work behind what they put out into the public, and they are, like, no one puts this much work into a book. Like, no one. Like, literally no one puts any more work than CJ does into their work. And like, it really, really shows. So everything is available on Amazon. You can ask questions here in the comments of this video. You can ask questions. You can ask questions in the comments of this video. You can ask questions just on this page. You can ask questions on the Goodreads page. That's probably the best place to ask questions if you want a direct answer from CJ. But that's probably oh, yay. Yeah, so Goodreads has a question function. That's probably the best way to ask questions directly to CJ. Again, my name is Alex. I'm always here for questions. I will go live as questions come in. If anything new comes up, I'm sort of the other expert on Steiner, other than obviously the author. So, I will be around. Feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to buy the books on Amazon. Again, if you want to save money, wait a few months, get the box set. It'll have more information. It'll have it'll have everything. It'll have everything you could ever want from Steiner. All right, I am running late for school, so I will catch you all later. Bye.